I make a deliberate decision to do things like dress the way I dress and talk the way I talk here. There's part of me that knows that it is a privilege for me to be able to be like heavily tattooed and wear a t-shirt to work sometimes. But what I want to do is I want to create a different kind of environment where everybody feels like they can bring their authentic self to work. I know that I have a role to play in being very deliberate about making this a safe and welcoming place. And that's not just about like, what do you say in meetings or what do you write in emails? It's about like, how do you talk to folks when you're here? Are you bringing your true self here? My name is Brian. This is my hat. These are my tattoos. This is my Buddha. It represents serenity. This is my backpack. This was my second home. These are two of my boys. They represent proof. The region's North Star, and my North Star as well, because they're one and the same, is all of our teachers are awesome. And you can tell because their kids excel and take charge.
In the past, there have been images of what it is to work at Teach for America and what type of person you should be. I think that Brian actively defies all of those roles. He's definitely someone who is an individual. He is himself. So he has these interests outside of this work, which I think is really important. And he shares that with people. He's not afraid of being like, all right, this is what I care about.
Like our stories of self and like the life maps and things like that we share, I've just seen consistently go deeper and deeper. And I think one of the ways that I was able to make that happen is like the first time I shared my story with my team, like I totally went there. They didn't walk away thinking like, whoa, now I understand why Brian has tattoos all over his body. They walked away feeling like this is a safe place. This is a place where I can really be me.
But first, I actually feel like the best intro to this, so that it's not just like a theoretical discussion, is for me to tell a little bit of my story. Both my story of like how I grew up and then what led me to teach.
I think after I shared my life map at an all-staff meeting, Brian just made sure to come over and be like, hey, that was brave of you, thanks for doing that. It was fun to see you do that. Like, he says nice things all the time, and it's not just, hey, I'm gonna say something nice to make you feel better, but it is the idea of concrete feedback that's grounded in actual actions.
I think culture is nearly everything. I think culture eats strategy for breakfast. And so we've got to be deliberate. We cannot make an assumption that like the good things we have happening culture-wise are just going to continue as the team continues to grow. Like plenty of people can get in and be like, you need to do this, and that's ineffective. Like how can you hold that line between being very direct but also like really empathetic and holding this person up? We've got to be moving towards a place where we view all of our work through the lens of the diversity core value. So it doesn't just feel like, okay, here's the part of the day or the part of the week or the part of the month. When we're having a diversity conversation, especially as a white manager, especially as a white male, as I think about what are my people doing, how am I communicating with them, and what are the examples we're putting in front of the core? What are the expectations that we're setting for them about this work? This role is obviously, you gotta be a strong coach, but there's something different that we're aiming for here. People gotta trust each other. That might seem obvious, but you've gotta think as a leader of your team, like, have I created opportunities to build trust? Have I created situations where people can actually share their story and be vulnerable, and am I modeling that vulnerability?
What if we were to treat every single core member as a potential future staff member? What would that change?
I think that there could exist a dynamic that, like, Brian's the real manager and I'm a bit of the coach, and he has worked hard to dispel anything that could feel that way. Everything from just, making sure that I have the time and space to work with my team individually and my mini team, to making sure that I'm like, the weekly team email is coming from me.
Other than making sure that you guys are getting to that point in your conversation, is there anything else specifically that you'd like me to be like listening for or looking for while I'm there?
I think it's always great to have a second set of eyes. I mean, and to really be able to ask probing questions, When
I'm thinking about why I believe that educational equity can be realized in New York, I'm not thinking about statistics or like a chart that shows graduation rates.
That's very good. Kind of make a curve,
We're really fortunate in New York to have several core members who are taught by core members themselves.
Hey, I like how you work that out on your own,
It's still a drop in the bucket, and I think I need to hold that reality every single day, but also like I cannot deny the possibility there because I have it in people, not just ideas or statistics.